morning, my name is Captain Rodriguez, and I'll be facilitating today's discussion, living the Army ethic. Right now, my computer decided that it needs to do an update, so I'll let it run its course. In the interim, I have the sign roster. I'll start over here with Sergeant Wimmer. Please pass that around the room. I've also placed some documents on your tables for your viewing pleasure. CAPE. Does anybody know what CAPE stands for? C-A-P-E?
Center for the Army Professional and Ethics.
Good job. So they place a lot of attention, time, and resources on this topic, and it's so much attention, and it's quite glamorous. I mean, they even send out this beautiful training packet. So if any of you are interested, I have 2 copies of these up here, thanks to the Sergeant Major. So it's just for your reference, or if you ever want to use it in the future. So our topic today is, as it starts, living the Army ethic. So what do you think that means to you as a serving professional in the armed forces? So trying to generate some discussion.
Try to live the Army values.
Some of the values. Okay. What else does it kind of, if you go on this, maybe why we serve?
Representing the military well.
Sure.
The way we conduct our mission.
The way we conduct our missions, would you agree? How about some reasons why we serve? Or, excuse me, how we serve? So if we look on this cheat sheet, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, it says, the Army ethic defines the moral principles that guide us in the conduct of our missions, performance of duty, and all aspects of life. One of the things that you might say, or as you've grown in your Army career, is with those Army values, you find that you start to live them more in your day-to-day life. They're not just applicable when you're at drill, right? 2 days a month, 2 weeks a year. As you grow and mature, you try to bring those more into your personal life, and you may even pass them on to your loved ones or your friends, right? Our ethic is reflected in law, Army values, creeds, oaths, ethos, and shared beliefs embedded within the Army culture. It inspires and motivates all of us to make right decisions and to take right actions at the right times, or at all times. So that's why I was bringing up to the how we serve, or why we serve, and how we serve. And somebody had mentioned that we talk about the Army values. We talk about the ethos, right? What about how we serve? So we talk about all these different values and ethics, but how is it applicable to how we are currently serving?
Doing what we should at all times.
Yeah, and then Sergeant Mitchell brought up our missions, how we conduct our mission. All right. So as we move on down this page, we talk about honorable servants of the nation, professionals of character. As we go through the slide deck, there's one slide that shows, if you read on the bottom half of the page, professionals of character. We are military experts, we're competent professionals, and we're stewards of the Army profession. We're committed professionals. So we talk about professionals of character. What does that mean to you?
Not everybody, like it states here, not everybody takes an oath. To work at Burger King, you probably don't have to take an oath. But our line of employment requires us to actually sign legal documents, and they will be lawful.
It's a very good point.
I think more or less just taking pride in what you do. From, put on a uniform to just,
Pretty serious.
Even just my line of work, the stuff that we handle is pretty important, and the people we distribute it to pull us up pretty high accord, so we have to represent, we pretty much, we represent ourselves as professionals at all times.
Right, having that pride, even just, our appearance starts right there at the basic before you walk out the door, you check the mirror, right? But then it also goes deeper into how we carry out our work, you two are saying, taking that oath, upholding the Constitution, building trust with the American people. How do you think that we do that? How do we build trust with the American people? How do we gain their support? Remember, only 1% of the population serves in the armed forces.
In our state, a lot of us, our civilian jobs, how we conduct ourselves just as a civilian job, they know that we're in the guard. We know that we're in the military, so that how we conduct ourselves in our civilian jobs and just in our communities, because they know we're in the guard, is going to have a huge impact on how people support the military or view us.
Okay. So, for your support is good, ma'am.
Yeah, so I have a story, because I think it's really cool to talk about character, and especially character of guard soldiers. He's very impressive. And so I think the best example I've ever seen is in 2008, the division was getting ready to deploy. And the division was deploying to Iraq, and a lot of the signal folks were departing 2 weeks earlier before the main group to get out to Fort Lewis, LaPorte. And so everybody, our send-off, our departure was just very low visibility. All the signal people were going out earlier before the division to set up the network and all this stuff. And so, I got on the plane with this signal warrant officer that I had just the utmost respect for. And it was a very emotional event. I saw him, say goodbye to his daughters. And then we take off and we land at Fort Lewis. And we're in the airport. And, everyone who's ever deployed has gone through that very emotional low point of when you're just heading out for the train up and then for the deployment. It's kind of a low energy time because as you make that transition from your civilian life to deploy. And so we landed at the airport and we're in the baggage area, just collecting our bags. And I'm standing next to the signal warrant officer when all of a sudden this little old man can barely walk, and he just looks confused, comes up to the signal warrant officer. And the signal warrant officer, who's just left his family and is facing a deployment, helps this little old man who doesn't speak English, who's waiting for his daughter to pick him up at the airport. And the signal warrant officer figures out a way through the language barrier, helps this guy, connects him to his daughter, and just is inconvenienced. He's completely inconvenienced, but he goes out of his way to help the individual. And so I think that's a character.
I'm so
I asked for
sorry.
that cue music.
That was kind of a good point. Our timing, building up to the climax. I'm so sorry. Please continue.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. I think the individuals in uniform just had tremendous character, and we just know that is why we're very effective, and it does play a role in our daily lives in uniform.
Thank you for that. How about if we move on a little bit to the competent professionals? How do we display that? How do we get to that point? How do we validate to the American people, to ourselves, to our audiences that we are competent in what we do?
Abilities to accomplish our mission.
Where I work, it's very hands-on and material with individuals, and I have a lot of 18-year-old kids or people should say they're not really kids anymore, that I work with. And they compare me to them differently due to the fact of my military background, of my professionalism, my responsibility, and my character, that I can get a job done compared, and I'm the same rank as they are, or my same experience level in the job, but my military background has progressed me further than them due to my professionalism and all the facts and things that I've learned in the military.
That's pretty good. Can some of you relate to that? So would you say that the skills that the military has given you and the character that it's built you into has maybe helped you in your personal life or your civilian life?
The military is pretty well regarded nowadays. Out there with firefighters.
Policemen?
Yeah, well, it's.
Civil servants though, right?
Civil
That's what we
servants.
are.
They're not thought of as, they're thought of as being better, a more respected profession in some ways.
Definitely. Anybody else want to add to that?
Well, at the same time, we're held to a higher standard. We have that experience and so forth, but, you know, anytime if something makes the news where we've done something that we shouldn't do when we're wearing this uniform, that really makes the news. And that becomes the focal point, that a soldier did this, not just a person did this. So we're held to a higher standard. We've got
Something that kind of pops in my mind is with the suicides, you know, such a high number of those. Right? Does it exist in our society? Yes. You know, it's a horrible thing, but anytime it has any relation with the military, that's one of the first 5 sentences of like the story or the whatever you've seen on the internet or if you hear it on the TV. It's one of the first 5 things that they mention is so-and-so was a member of the Minnesota Army National Guard, or they were a former Marine, or whatever. So I just think that that's really interesting too. So we always are advancing in our knowledge. We have the expertise. Chosen profession, we seek the truth, right? Like you said, we're held to a high standard. All right. So thank you, Sergeant Limmer, for getting me going on here. The sign-in roster is going around. I'm going to kind of go off some of the slide deck here that was provided. So living the Army ethic. Again, I'm Captain Rodriguez. I've been in the RTI for nearly 1 year. I've just over 3 years left until if I decide if I'm going to stay in the military. So that puts me at almost 17 years of service. I just like to mention that because it gives you a little bit of an idea of how long I've been around. I'm a logistics officer, and I have some background in safety also. I am employed by the USDA. I work in Minneapolis, and I have 3 kids, and I live near here. So I'm pleased to be able to present this topic to you this morning. And we'll stick to the time hack, or the time that we've been allotted, but we won't skip any of the materials. And as I said, if any of you are interested in any of the materials as a takeaway, it is available up here. All right, so living the Army ethic. So here are the outcomes and our goals for today's facilitated training. We talked about why we serve, kind of get a better understanding and how we serve. Living by those moral principles, building our character. Why is living the Army ethic is important to developing that mutual trust. We talked about how gaining the trust of the American people is very important in our profession. And then think about like in the terms of COE and how we are serving in abroad, and we're not always there in wartime, right? We're also there to maintain peace. So gaining the trust of those societies of people that were surrounded, or that are actually welcoming us into their territory. So I think that's equally important. So So the Army ethic, let's see. So listed on the slide is an explanation of the role of the Army ethic. And again, why is it important to our profession? So we can maintain our professionalism, right? So that we gain that trust. I feel like I'm kind of repeating myself, but it's because we use the sheet in addition to the slide. So keep moving on. Okay, so this is a 13-minute video on why we serve. It really talks about the background of the Army and how, you know, we're over almost 240 years old. I'll play just a brief synopsis of it, but I want to be able to hit on some of the important parts of the slide deck also. This will work. I apologize.
Move it all the way to the right. There you go.
Why is there it goes? There we go. I'm kind of embarrassed, but I know this has probably happened to 3/4 of you before, so it is what it is.
ELMS.
This we'll defend are the words that encapsulate the ideals of the United States Army. It was first used by the War Office of the Continental Congress during the American Revolutionary War in 1778. And it has been our guiding motto for over 200 years. Today, it is inscribed on a scroll above the cap of freedom on the Department of the Army emblem to signify the Army's constant readiness to defend and preserve the United States of America. It is our shield. This we'll defend means we are there when we are needed, regardless of the mission. We are trusted Army professionals who are there when our country calls upon us. Our shared love of country is a powerful motivation for our service to the nation. We are the faces of freedom, life, and liberty. We serve not to promote war, but to preserve peace. This we'll defend is a statement of our commitment in our oath to defend the Constitution of the United States and its citizens. The first line of that oath being, I do solemnly swear that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. And I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same.
Will I take this oath?
This is why we serve. As Army professionals, we fulfill distinctive roles as honorable servants of the nation, as competent military experts, and as committed stewards of our profession. And by taking our solemn oath, we voluntarily incur an extraordinary moral obligation inherent in our identity as trusted Army professionals. This obligation is inspired and motivated by the Army ethic. The Army ethic defines the moral principles that guide us in the conduct of our missions, performance of duty, and all aspects of our lives. The Army ethic is the heart of our shared professional identity, our sense of who we are, and why, and how we serve the American people. This is why we live the Army ethic. The Army is a noble calling, a trusted profession. Our ethic is reflected in law, Army values, oaths, creeds, ethos, I'm an airborne trooper, a paratrooper. And shared beliefs embedded within Army culture. It is the means by which we establish trust with the American people, and it is a large part of why we serve. As soldiers, Army civilians, and families, we are committed to do our duty to contribute to the common defense. We share a love of country and of our Army family. We defend American values, and we serve not to promote war, but to preserve peace.
Honorable service to our nation. And I think that goes to the heart of the reason why people serve. Most people want to be part of an organization that has great ethics.
You have the ability to be part of something that allows you to really look at the flag and realize that all the past is tied up in that flag that represents our nation.
9/11 happened, and I wanted to do something. I wanted to, play my part. I didn't want to let time go by and look back and say, I wish I had.
I thought I was just gonna, get in, go to school, serve my country, and the structure is actually what kept me. Just the tradition and knowing that you go in and you have a purpose.
As a former drill sergeant, watching the soldiers walk across that parade field with their heads held high, chest out, and that they know they accomplished something, they know that I had an impact on their life.
I'm proud of what I do. It feels good to be a soldier. You feel like you're fighting for everyone's justice.
An Army professional is somebody who's going to go out and be the example that the U.S. people expect us to be.
And I think that is an important trust that's been given to us by the American people. And in order to justify that trust, to enable that trust to continue, we have to serve with honor.
You take an oath. It's a solemn oath. It means something that we're actually going to support and defend an ideal called the Constitution, and we're going to provide for the common defense of our country and our people and our way of life.
I do this because I raised my right hand, I volunteered, I took an oath. Over the years though, especially with the two conflicts we've been recently engaged in, it hit home. When you're out there, I learned how strong that oath is and what it represents.
Why we serve directly affects how we serve. We serve ethically, with character. We take pride in honorably serving the nation with integrity and demonstrating character in all aspects of our lives.
There's not many people that put on this uniform every day. So for me to be able to put this on and come to work and be able to provide for my family and serve my country at the same time, to me it's an honor.
Accountability is a big piece of the Army ethic. I have to comply with standards, regulations, and policies. I have to be a role model, and I have to live by the Army values.
If somebody is not doing the right things and not living by those values, you're just wearing a uniform, and anybody can wear a uniform. It's to back up the uniform through your actions that matter.
Honor is the outgrowth of character. And if you're serving with honor, you're serving with good character.
We serve effectively, with teamwork and competence. We do our duty with discipline and to standards, putting the needs of others above our own, accomplishing the mission as a team.
You have to know what your job is. You have to be technically and tactically proficient in your job. You have to know what it is to be a soldier.
As somebody who's disciplined, puts others above himself, has that selfless service quality.
Being competent is understanding that you have technical expertise that you develop as a result of your time in service. So you gotta be able to be the best soldier that you can be.
If you're an infantryman, have an expert infantryman's badge. If you're airborne, be a jump master. Always strive for that higher level.
You are the squad leader. Your team counts on you to be the best squad leader that you can be because their lives depend on it.
So you have to be competent at the individual level, but you also have to be competent at a team level, and then build that into the platoon, the company, the battalion, and the brigade.
The camaraderie, the team building, it's like a tight-knit family, and that was something I wanted to be part of, something a little bit bigger than myself.
We serve efficiently, with stewardship and commitment. We uphold the standards of the profession. We lead by example, and we hold ourselves and others accountable for decisions and actions.
I joined this Army to be a part of a team. I aspire to be the best I can be. And that is ethically, personally, and professionally.
Taking pride in what you do and setting standards for yourself and setting standards for others and letting them know that there's an expectation that we are in a profession that is unique and different.
We're soldiers. This is a special group that make this commitment to live ethically, to be expert in our profession, and then to have great care in the stewardship of our profession.
Whether it's dollars or it's time or soldiers' lives, we have to shepherd those resources and best apply them against the challenges or missions that we've been given.
And as a steward of the profession, you are inspiring others to serve a cause greater than themselves, and you're also exemplifying the personal and moral courage that it takes to do the right thing in the most arduous conditions that you might find yourself in.
By defending the values that frame the nation, preserving the peace, and fulfilling our moral obligation to execute the legal and ethical orders of civilian authority, we reinforce trust with the American people.
Every day we're making decisions, and a lot of them are hard decisions. And if we have a framework, an ethical framework for making those decisions, we'll make better decisions for the American people.
The values get you to a certain point. Same with the warrior ethos. But the combination of those two is really the ethic. You know, the foundation of why we have a set of shared values and an ethos that we all aspire to be. And so that's why this ethic is so important.
I think how we serve is critical for us to continue to be professional and honorable individuals when others look at us and when we look at each other.
And that applies whether you're in uniform or an Army civilian. It shapes the profession, it defines who we are, but more importantly, it reinforces with those external to the Army that we are indeed professionals that you can trust.
And that trust is something that is earned each and every day. It's earned by the performance of our soldiers. It's earned by the leadership that our leaders of character deliver. And it's a factor that is absolutely essential for us to continue to be the profession that we are today.
The essential characteristics of our Army profession: honorable service, military expertise, esprit de corps, stewardship, all built on the foundation of trust, reinforce our identity and provide the critical foundation for the Army. Soldiers, Army civilians, and families, we stand strong by living and upholding the Army ethic in conduct of the mission, performance of duty, and in all aspects of life. This is America's Army, our profession, meeting the needs of the nation for more than 239 years, built on shared values, established standards, and mutual trust. This is living the Army ethic, living our shared professional identity as trusted Army professionals.
Alright, so maybe you can reflect back on when you joined the military and maybe what motivated you to serve your country. Kind of interesting. Something to think about too is, can somebody please turn those lights back on? What do you think might motivate non-citizens to join the military? It's something to think about, a rhetorical question. So the video talked a lot about the different competencies that we discussed, the character, your profession, and your committed as a committed professional. Like I said, like why we serve. So each of the 3 bullets on the side over here, the love of country and family, preserve the peace, defend the American people, the values. Do you think they're obligational or aspirational? Is it an obligation or is it more of an aspiration of why people sort of a combination